recording. And I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Denisa Majlatova from SOS Electronic, and I'd like to welcome you all in our webinar with IQRF Alliance company. IQRF is our long-term partner and a supplier of SOS Electronic. Our hosts for today are Šimon Chudoba, is CEO of IQRF, and Ivona Spurna, Marketing Committee Chairman. In case you have any questions, please write them down to chat or Q&A. You can do it during the webinar anytime. Ivona or Šimon will answer them. And now, Šimon, please go ahead. You can start your presentation. Yeah, you already shared the screen. That's great. So go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, and sorry for the troubles with the microphone at the very beginning. I hope that you can hear me well. So the goal today is to show you how you can build up your IoT solution very quickly using not only the IQRF technology, but also, let's say, the products, softwares, and solutions from the IQRF Alliance members. So I would like to introduce you actually the whole ecosystem which is linked to the IQRF. And in the second part, Ivona will show you like a practical example how you can set up your IQRF network, how you can set up a gateway, and how you can connect it to a cloud solution. So first, let me start. Those who are experienced with IoT knows that it's not so easy as it seems on the beginning, right? It seems to be very easy just to link like a sensor to some kind of cloud, and then it's up and running and it's fine. But more deep you go, you realize there are a lot of pieces of the puzzles that you need to have ready to build your IoT solution, especially if it's not just let's say one sensor at your home, but if you want to really do a business in IoT, you realize that you need a lot of pieces of this puzzles, like actuators, sensors, gateways, clouds, backend, frontend, some infrastructure, maybe a mobile app, some remote management system, and so on and so on. And the new things are still coming. So the goal of the IQRF Alliance is actually to provide you with the pieces of this puzzle, so you can take the ones that you need and that you want to use, and you can use it immediately, and with this you can build your IoT solution. No matter if you are a hardware manufacturer or if you are a system integrator that want to use just the end devices and just let's say the black boxes that will work for you. So just a very short information about the Alliance. Currently, we have almost 100 members since IQRF Technologies from Czech Republic, so it's organically growing from Czech, but we have members from 17 countries. And those are the companies and partners that you can work with on your IoT projects. And definitely, sooner or later, you can become one of the members as well. So the target of the Alliance and of the companies in the Alliance is really to build up the ecosystem like that you can use for your IoT project. So on the button, you can see that there are IQRF modules. So this is, let's say, the core of the whole technology. So those modules are equipped with the operating system and DPA platform. So basically, immediately you can take the module and connect it to any kind of device, like a light or sensor or some relay or whatever, and with the standard interfaces you can connect it to your product. Yeah, so with this you can very easily create a IQRF product, or product which is communicating on the IQRF platform. And also we provide guidelines how to make your device interoperable. Interoperable means that if someone reads, let's say, a temperature from one device and from another device, it will read completely the same data in the same format. So then the integrator doesn't have to, let's say, parse the data in the different way from one device and to another. This is very important then for easy realization of the IoT projects. And then like these end devices are communicating in the IQRF mesh network. If you want to know more about technology itself, I would recommend you to watch the previous webinars that we've done with the SOS, or there are plenty of videos and materials on our website. But basically then you connect a gateway. So the standard thing is that you have a gateway which controls the network locally. So it's some kind of like edge computing or fog computing if you want. Again, you can use ready gateways that are available, like from ION or from IQ Home. There are also devices coming from MicroRisk, by the way. Or you can create your own gateway. Right, so for example, you can use a standard Raspberry Pi or any basically computer running on Linux. You can use this IQRF daemon, which is available free of charge on the GitHub. You just download it. Again, there's a very clear guideline how to do this, and you can integrate the IQRF daemon on your Linux computer, basically connect IQRF module in this kind of USB dongle, or it could be through the SPI. We have also like a connectors on the SPI, and with this you can create your own gateway. Okay, and on the gateway, usually you would run also MQTT broker, and the daemon is communicating with the MQTT broker, and through this MQTT you can get your network connected anywhere, basically, you know. So you can use some solutions from the big providers like IBM Cloud, Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, or you can use your own cloud solution. Is just up to you. Okay, and in order to, let's say, connect everything smoothly, we have this IQRF repository, and it's working in the way that basically the standardized products and the information about the products are stored in this repository. So if you, let's say, buy a device from another member of the Alliance, the gateway get connected to the device, and then it downloads all the necessary information about the device from this repository. Okay, so this is like a complete ecosystem that you can use really like you want. Okay, you can be in the role of the provider of the devices, or provider of the gateway, or some softwares, or you can work as a system integrator. It's just up to you, yeah, which role you would play. Also, the important thing is, if you are not, let's say, very familiar with the IQRF, it's like what kind of projects, let's say, fit well for using the IQRF, because there are plenty of wireless technologies on the market. Currently, very often mentioned are LoRa and Sigfox that you can see here. So those are so-called low power wide area networks. And those networks are designed especially to collect sensor data from, let's say, remote sensors. Okay, so this is perfect when you have a sensor in the middle of the field and you just need to collect the data. Then it's fine. You don't have to build your own network and so on. The IQRF, on the other side, is rather designed for not only collecting the data from the sensors, but also for controlling things. Okay, and when I say things, I mean like lights, I mean some relays, blinders, and so on and so on. There are many, many examples. And since the IQRF have a range from one point to another couple of 100 meters, we can easily cover like a smart home, for example. But IQRF is very strong in mesh network. That means that the message is hopping literally from one point to another. With this, in one network, we can very easily cover large buildings, such as office buildings or shopping malls, or some manufacturer areas and so on. But we can also work in the, let's say, city environment or neighborhood environment. So we have a lot of installation of the street lights where literally the message is hopping from one light to another to reach the last light, which is even like 10 kilometers far from the gateway. Okay. So here is the, let's say, list of the parameters that that would so you know like which kind of project would fit the IQRF technology, you know. So that means that not only data acquisition but also control. You will need your local gateway, which have some benefits because you don't have to send the data to some clouds, but you can control everything locally. Usually the gateway control tens, hundreds, in some cases even like thousands of nodes, and this is like the IQRF is good when you don't need a ready infrastructure. That means that if you need just one sensor somewhere, basically, then I think IQRF is not the right thing. But if you have, let's say, high density of sensors or the actuators, then it's a good choice. And the rule of thumb is actually that if the points are closer than 200 meters, one from the other, then the IQRF can make sense for your project. We have very good experience also like in indoor, outdoor, but also in very RF harsh environment. So those are, let's say, typical projects where the IQRF is used. It's very advanced technology, so you can use the over-the-air upgrades. You know, there's a high redundancy and so on. You can connect it to any cloud, basically. Here is a little bit more about the architecture itself. This is something that I mentioned a few slides before. So basically, going more into the detail, when you have a product, each product from the IQRF perspective have certain peripherals. Okay, so there are embedded peripherals. With this, you can communicate, for example, on SPI or UART. So doing this, you don't need any development. But there are also so-called like standard peripherals. Those are standardized by the IQRF Alliance. And we have currently like 3 standards. One is for sensors, second one is for binary output, and the last one is for lights. But we are adding these standards like as it's coming with the projects. And then you can have your own peripheral as well. And with this, like when you are the member of the Alliance, we provide you the hardware profile ID. That means this is like a unique number of your product, and your product, once it's certified based on this hardware profile ID, it's stored in this IQRF repository. Okay, so then when the gateway is communicating on this standard IQRF DPA with the network, the gateway can download from the IQRF repository the data about the device. You know, so the benefit is that if you just buy any device from another member, I mean certified device, you connect it to the gateway. You don't have to know anything about the product. The gateway will basically download the information about the device from the repository. And I mean, there are like 3 layers in the repository, what it can do. One thing is that it will tell you, okay, this is a product from this and this company. It's the name of this product is so and so. So you can download a picture of the product and so on. But this is cool, but not, let's say, the key thing. The key thing is that once, let's say, there's a new version of the firmware for the product, the gateway can automatically download it from the repository as well, and actually upgrade it to the product. Okay, so imagine that you are a manufacturer of such a device. You don't have to distribute the new firmware to all the customers because you don't even know the customers. So you just upload the new package into the repository, and all the users will find out that there's a new version. So this is something like, you know, from your cell phones that there's a new upgrade of your Linux or whatever, of your Android, sorry. Okay, and the last part of the repository, which is very important, is those drivers, and those are drivers, so you don't have to actually understand the DPA protocol. Okay, so if you know how to use Java, you can basically write the code in Java, and you can send the commands to the gateway, and the gateway will, or the gateway daemon will translate it into the IQRF commands. So this is another step for, let's say, the integrators, how they can work with the IQRF ecosystem very easily. They don't have to learn the whole IQRF DPA protocol, and it's much closer for them, and it's much faster for the integration. And then the gateway, once it's know what kind of products it has connected, it can control it. The gateway can communicate with your mobile application, with your cloud, whatever. Usually we use the MQTT JSON format, which is like a standard in IoT, and it's very easy actually to control, to set it up. So this is like a little bit of the architecture. If you want to know more about the repository, I would definitely recommend you the webinar, which was done about 2 months ago by the CTO of the Alliance. We will share with you the presentation, so you can then like go to the go to this link and watch the webinar really in detail, like how you can use the repository in your projects. So with this, you can do a lot of stuff, and we've done a lot of projects. So I will just briefly go through this. So for example, there's a project when we monitor the car's transit in Prague. So basically, those are the sensors developed for street parking. But actually, if you put them in a line, you can use them also for tracking number of the cars, speed of the car, length of the car, and so on and so on. Okay, so this is just one example how this technology could be used. I mentioned the street lighting. This is, let's say, one of the best fit between the project and the technology. So basically here you can see a light, and on the top of the light there's a with a NEMA connector, a control unit for the light. And basically that's it what you need. And again, you can control hundreds and hundreds of lights from one cabinet or from one gateway. Yeah, the same thing is for industrial lighting, where you have quite harsh environment. So the message again is like hopping from one light to another. The same thing works for the heating. So you can control large buildings or large halls with the heating, and the installation is very easy thanks to the wireless platform. Just to show you that the IQRF could be used in really harsh environment and key processes. This is a picture from power plant in Slovakia, where they bring coal in wagons, and if the coal is frozen, they have to defreeze it. So they install this 500 infrared heaters with the complete input of like 1.8 megawatts, and each of this infrared heater is controlled by IQRF module. Okay, so it shows like how the wireless technology could be used even in this kind of key processes. And last example, even we are collecting data and controlling this kind of turbine of few megawatts. So by the IQRF, we control this blades of the turbine. Okay, so there are plenty of examples here, monitoring of the railroad embankments in UK. So there are really plenty of things that you can do with it. And how to start, it's very easy. Like what you need, or what is IoT world about right now? I believe that it's about proof of concept projects or pilot projects, if you will. And the companies are, let's say, open to do this, but you must be able to do it pretty quickly and effectively. It means in a matter of weeks, you should be able to place the pilot project to the customer. But that's not so easy, you know, because you need the end devices, you need the hardware for the gateway, you need the software, you need some cloud, you need some visualization. And we have the experience with this, that when we started doing this a couple of years ago, it was really like a nightmare, because we have to develop actually every single piece of that. and it was a very long process. Yeah? But nowadays you can really use ready stuff, and in order to, let's say, get an experience with using all these layers, you can use the IoT Starter Kit that we put together with first of all Ion, using this app board, which is something like Raspberry Pi but much more powerful, but it's connectable or scalable also to other software and cloud providers, but also to a different hardware. Okay, so basically with this, you can take, you have, let's say, IQRF nodes. This means this is like a plain repeater, but here is like a sensor kit with temperature, illumination sensor, and a potentiometer. And here you have a relay. So basically you have a sensor kit and a relay kit. That means some actuator. And with this, you can build an IQRF network, a basic one. But later on, you can, like say, extend it with the ready devices from Alliance members, like CO2 sensor, temperature sensor, or some power plug, and so on and so on. Also, in the starter kit, you can learn actually yourself, playing with this, how to build your own gateway. So how to install the daemon, how to configure the MQTT, and so on and so on, and actually how to connect it to the cloud. You can go to IQRF website, to the IoT Starter Kit, and on the GitHub, actually, you will find a very clear guidelines how to put all these steps, how to put the whole solution together. But to show you how it could be done, so we will show you just a couple of things. We will share now the information, or Ivona will take over right now, and we'll show you in practice how you can use this development set and how to build a IQRF network, then how to set up the gateway and how to connect it to the cloud. We will definitely not do it like step by step, because this would be like a longer process than we can do here in this during this webinar. But if you want to see the whole story, let's say the whole guideline, you can go to this website that we will share with you after the webinar. So now I would like to ask Ivona to take over and show you this in practice.
Okay, thank you. So I will share my screen. Can you see it? Simon?
Yes,
oh, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So we prepared some installation guideline. I will show you basic steps. First of all, we need to build our IQRF network. Here, what you can see, these are IQRF components, transceivers, programmer debugger, evaluation board with accumulator, battery, sensoric kit, and relay kit. And this is the app board from Ion. So first of all, I will make the IQRF mesh network from these components. What you need to do first is to download from IQRF.org website startup package with all necessary files, and of course the newest one, IQRF IDE application. When you download it, you will find this structure in the zip file, so you need to unzip it, and in examples you can start IoT Starter Kit demo file. It contains all necessary files, and finally you will find this. You will find configuration. Here you need to select peripherals, or you need to allow custom DPI handler usage. You can allow fast response command for coordinator. You can set access password, which is the same for the whole network, and so on. Here you can find plugins for coordinator or for node. So if you want to make coordinator from one transceiver, you just need to upload this plugin to this transceiver, or if you want to make the node from the transceiver, you just upload this one. If you want to communicate with the transceiver and you want to receive some sensoric data from the sensoric kit, you need to upload also sensoric custom DPA handler file. In the startup package, you will find this source code file. You can inspect it, and then you need to build it and make the hex file. And this hex file you will upload to one node, which will be connected to sensoric kit. I did it before, so if I would like to repeat it again, I would insert one node to the CK USB programmer. With number 1, it will be node which will be connected to this one, this sensoric kit. And then I would upload configuration, plugin for node, and custom DPA handler for sensoric kit. And then I would click on this button, which will upload all necessary files to this transceiver. I will not do it now because it's done. Now I will connect this transceiver to the programmer. In this transceiver, I have uploaded plugin for coordinator. Also, it's uploaded configuration and no hex file because it's coordinator. I will put this transceiver to the evaluation board. And if you can see this blinking, it means that this transceiver is unbonded, so it's prepared for making the network. It's prepared to be connected to the network. This transceiver is also blinking, so I can make the network now. We can see in a network mesh manager and that the network consists only of one transceiver only from this coordinator. Now I will bond to logical address number 1 this transceiver. So I will press this button and I have 10 seconds to press user button on this evaluation board. I did it, so you can see the logical address number 1 was assigned to this transceiver. Next, I will bond node number 2 with the same procedure. So now we can see that coordinator has 2 nodes with number 1 and number 2. Now we can try to send some DPA command to transceiver number 1. We can see it was executed. I can turn the red LED off. It's okay, but the network is not in a perfect state now. So if I want to do it, I need to do the discovery process. After then, all nodes received the virtual routing numbers. So now it's the optimal status of the network and the network is prepared for optimal routing. We can use terminal window for sending DPA commands. Here you can see network address field. So if I let here number 0, it's a logical address of coordinator, I can turn red LED on. So now you should see that red LED is on. Of course, we can turn it off. So it's a very simple way how to send commands to the IQRF network from the computer. Now, what we can do, we can make the upboard as a IQRF gateway. We have prepared detailed documentation of how to do it It's a very simple process. You just need 4 minutes to install Ubi Linux on this gateway. After then, you just need to upgrade it and install other services like MQTT Broker, IQRF Gateway Daemon Service, IQRF Gateway Daemon Web Application, Node.js and Node-RED. And you can run here prepared IoT Starter Kit flow. So finally, you should be able to use Node-RED dashboard with prepared visualization of sensoric values. So now I can change the place for this coordinator from this programmer to the gateway. This is adapter for connection, and I will turn it on the gateway. Because I have connected it to my network, my local network with the DHCP server, this gateway will receive IP address. So we will see if I will receive the same address as in the previous time. So I will try it. Yes, it's the same. So I can log in into the gateway. We can check the IQRF interface setting. We can see here is set up SPI connection, so we will not change it. And we can use, for example, this environment for sending basic DPA commands. For example, if I want to send command for turning on the red LED on a coordinator, we can do it through this environment, and you can see it's okay. We can turning off this red LED in the same way. You can see this command is really the same as it was here in a IQRF IDE application. So now we control this IQRF network from the local gateway. What we can do next, we can try to configure the remote application, for example, in Amazon IoT Web Services. So, but before we do that, I will show you the Node-RED environment also, because it's very, very nice. So we can see that because we installed the Node-RED application into this gateway, we can use now also the dashboard, and we should see some changes here. We can change settings of Node-RED in an environment for configuration. As I said before, we can also control the network from the remote application in cloud. We prepared some basic steps how to do it in Amazon Web Services, and IBM Cloud, and in Microsoft Azure clouds. So I will show you something from Amazon Web Services now. If you log into Amazon Web Services, you can use Amazon IoT. You can basically set up your virtual gateway device through few steps. You can give the name to your virtual gateway. You will download your connection kit, which you will upload to your gateway locally through the web application. And what you need to do next is to download the certificate from the Amazon server. That's all what you need to do next. I will delete it because I don't need it. What you need to do next is to copy the endpoint identification, and you need to added to the configuration of Amazon Web Services MQTT interface. Now I am on this gateway in a web application, and in a clouds menu, I selected Amazon AVS. If I click on Add New MQTT Interface, I can insert here the name of the AWS endpoint. I will select the connection kit, or I will select files which were in a connection kit which I have downloaded before, and then I will save. Because I did it before, I can show you how the MQTT interface will look like. So inside, you can find the address of the Amazon web endpoint. And what's important is this information. It is topic for requests and topic for responses. Topic for responses is a topic in AWS where the gateway will send its responses. So if I want to try some tests, connection tests from Amazon to my local network, I will subscribe to a topic, IQRF DPA response. And then if I want to send some DPA command to the gateway will expect commands in a topic for requests, IQRF DPA request. So I will insert name of this topic here. And I need to insert also command for the gateway. The command is a JSON form of DPA command. You can find it in a guideline on the website, and you just insert this command into this field and click on a publish. You can see that the gateway picked up this command from the topic for requests and executed it. And I think it's very simple because you can see the DPA command you would saw before. It's the same. So I think it's now from my side all, and I will let the word to Simon.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ivona. So guys, if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A, and I will start to share my screen and say just a couple of words to, let's say, somehow conclude. And so you should be able to see my screen right now. So you saw like how, let's say, easy it is to send the commands from like locally from mesh network, from the gateway, but also from some IoT services. So as you can see, the IQRF ecosystem is not only about the wireless modules anymore, it's about the higher levels as well. Ivona went through this like very briefly, just showing you the, let's say, the basics, the very basics. But on this link, you can really go through this process like step by step, and it will guide you to do the same thing. Before like we get to the end, I would like to invite you to the IQRF Summit, which will be in 1 month, in April 24th and 25th in Prague. We expect about 250 people really as the IoT specialists. There will be about 40 presentations, and also what could be very interesting for you is really the hands-on workshops. And on the workshops, we will focus on 2 things. The one thing will be how to develop your own IQRF interoperable device. That's one thing. And the second thing will be more, or the second workshop will be more for integrators. That means like how you can use the interoperable IQRF interoperable devices in your IoT solution. So basically you will learn how to use the gateway, how to connect it to the repository, how to bond new devices, and so on and so on. So I think this will be very worth it to come. You will see a lot of real things and the real solutions. It could be great inspiration for you. You can meet your business partners. There will be also marketplace, so you can really physically touch the real solutions, and you can talk to the developers. Let's say using the IQRF for many years. You are more than welcome to come over, and we will share with you this presentation. So there are some links that could be valuable for you to find the information about what we just presented. And I would like to thank you for your time, and we will be happy to answer any questions if you have so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Simon. Well, while everybody else will find the courage to write us some question, I have one question from my colleagues. I don't know if it's related really like to this topic, but they asked me to that how they can how to make the calculation of battery duration in case the module is charged from the battery.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. We have a, let's say, a simple Excel file that we can share with you, where you put like how often the module is transmitting, how much it's, let's say, in the listening mode, because there are different modes like standard or low power, or even like extra low power. And also you can put the module on sleep. So you actually add this information into this Excel sheet, and it will be calculated. So if you need this, like, we can share with you the Excel files.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can calculate it yourself, or you can discuss it with our technical support.
Okay, it would be great. It would be great if you could share this sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I do not see any questions for now, but in case you will have something, so you can write to us or directly to IQRF. And in case we will have some questions, we'll contact Shimon or Ivona for the appropriate answers. Well, I'd like to you both for an interesting and detailed webinar presentation. And also I'd like to thank you all who attended our event and stayed with us during the presentation. In next month, we'll plan more webinars, and we'll spread the word on social media and on our web pages. Please follow us. Also, if I will get the recording of these webinars, we will also publish it on our pages. So please follow us. I wish you all a pleasant and successful day. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.